Hey there, listeners. You'll notice that this episode is much earlier than the other ones, and that's because E3 is this weekend, so there won't be an episode on Sunday since we're doing it right now. So we hope you enjoy. We'll actually have the next episode next Sunday. Thank you very much.
You are listening to Modern Retrospect, retro hits and modern bits. I'm Yovan.
And I'm Joseph. This time we're going to be talking about E3, as it's coming up very shortly. There's a lot going on this year, despite it being a virtual event. We're going to try to touch in as much as possible while being a little more free-flowing this time.
If you like what you have been listening to so far, subscribe, rate us, or leave us a message if you are feeling extra generous.
Alrighty then, let's get predicting. So, oddly enough, I actually have to say I've been a little out of the loop when it comes to stuff that's going to be happening at E3 this year. I kind of, usually think to myself, like most times, it's kind of like the whole, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony kind of thing. But Sony's sitting it out this year like last year, and I think they might have done that the year before as well. So they're basically probably only going to have a small presence in regards to maybe other developers. Like maybe Square Enix, showing off Final Fantasy 16 or something like that. But then we have a couple things that are starting E3, like the Summer Game Fest, which was there last year. They show off other publishers and announcements and updates and news. And I guess it's just kind of like a good start. You got the company behind Metro, who recently was talking about new time splitters, and they're teasing something. IGN's so big now, it's got its own little expo thing that they're hosting over at the virtual E3. And just a bunch of other smaller ones like Wholesome Direct, Gorilla. We obviously have a Ubisoft Forward, which they've been a little more active lately at E3s. Devolver Digital, kind of the crazy showcases they do. And, basically just a lot of companies I didn't expect to actually see this year, including like something from Razer, which I did not know that. It's kind of strange this year. It's kind of amalgamation to catch up on, I guess, whatever was missing last year, but it's
I'm really excited about this year because, like you said, we all kind of missed out last year, which is understandable. But we've had an extra year to, or at least devs that have had an extra year to kind of polish these games, work on them. A lot of stuff that we probably don't know. It's a bummer that Sony's not going to be there.
Yeah,
but
they
there's
yeah,
they're going to have their state of play and. They're doing their own their own thing. So we'll catch up with that when they have it. But at least for this means we could kind of focus on Nintendo and Microsoft and some of the other companies that will be at E3. Which I could go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I really, really would love to go to E3. It's kind of funny that during the times where I feel like I'm more financially capable to go to E3 is the time where I can't. Like we can't at all. In regards to the last little Sony side thing, I guess you can say is I'm actually the only thing I'm kind of probably excited for that's considered to be a timed exclusive that I know Square Enix likely will want to show off unless they're going to save that for a state of play after E3 would be Final Fantasy 16. I really want to see more on that game. I'm just happy to see like an original Final Fantasy that looks like it's getting a lot of attention aside from Final Fantasy 7 Remake. We're probably not going to see anything for Part 2. I think it's too early for that. But yeah, it's mostly going to be, at least when it comes to the big hitters, Microsoft and Nintendo, and maybe a couple of pretty cool announcements from some of the other companies. Microsoft, let's just get into Microsoft halftime. They've got some big shoes to basically step into right now because we have not seen, enough from them recently. And I'm now really curious, like, if we're just going to get a blowout of information from them.
So for this, Joseph, we could have done this one two ways, right? There's usually two ways these episodes are done. Either you go real in depth, you do your homework, you give a real in depth analysis of what's going to be there, et cetera, real inside baseball stuff.
Oh, yeah,
or you could just wing it. And to me, that's more fun because the fun about E3 is, like, I don't want anything spoiled, man. I want to be watching like everybody else and then seeing a surprise announcement after a surprise announcement. So the kind of research I did on E3 was light. It's more what I wish is there and what I want to see. and there's some stuff I've kind of read up and heard, etc. So, but I did not really go inside baseball on this because I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to hear some stupid rumor that if it comes true, I'm like, God damn it, I did read about that. It came true. No, man. I want to be like a kid in a candy store and be completely surprised at whatever announcement either Microsoft, Nintendo, or even Sony had a state of play, right? This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this one.
Oh, no, me too. It's kind of funny because usually most of the time when E3 is coming up, I kind of try to keep track of, like, so many things that were happening, like what time, what this, what not. I'm actually not really doing that much this year. I think it's just because I'm only just looking for the ballpark of when E3 is going to start. And I'm mostly only looking for, like, the big companies that are going to show stuff off because, as you kind of said before, you're just kind of really wanting to be surprised. I think it's just because we've gone to that point now where we got over that huge hump, and now there's so much potential and so many things that could be shown off that's just really exciting. So you just want to be excited. I mean, there's a couple rumors, but nothing too concrete recently has been, in my opinion, leaked for E3, which is nice. I think actually part of it is due to the fact that most of this is more virtual than it is like an event. A lot of event stuff got ruined when it was live, funny enough. I feel like everything's been a little more tight-lipped.
Well, you must have missed the Master Chief and Smash Brothers leak that came out. It's okay. I get it. You were recovering from your hand issue. Right. I get it, man. But don't worry. I don't mean to spoil anything. But
yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I don't think so.
If that comes true, I'm gonna.
I would be. Vegas. Yes, there are some people who kind of have thought that. I do think it's kind of a stretch, but then the way Nintendo has gotten so many properties recently in their game, and they're very friendly with Microsoft, I wouldn't really hold it past them to do that. But on Microsoft's side, I mean, I know that you for sure are looking forward to like the next maybe big trailer or showcase of Halo Infinite. And what it's gonna do, because I have to say I'm pretty excited to see what they've got for it. It's been it's been less than a year. It has been 6-7 months since they showed
delaying the game was actually really smart on Microsoft's part. I heard it looks a lot better now, so I'm excited to see the game. I didn't think it looked. What did I say on that episode? Crap! I hope I don't put my foot in my mouth.
Well, no, you said you liked the aesthetic of it and you thought it looked nice overall.
Yeah, it reminded me of Halo 1. It was giving me Halo 1 vibes. You know what? If I don't remember what I said, but whatever. If I contradict myself, I don't think it looks that bad. Did it blow me away? Nah, not really. But I didn't think it looked that bad. But from what I hear, it looks pretty damn good now. They've spent that time wisely as far as polishing up the visuals.
Yeah. The screenshots they've shown off look really, really nice. It looks very, very beautiful.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it in motion. I was not excited about Halo 5. I was Halo 4. I have a lot of mixed feelings. The multiplayer did not do anything for me. So, I really haven't been really excited for Halo since Halo 3. And I'm really looking forward to this one. Again, I've heard that it looks really nice now compared to how it did earlier in the year.
Well, speaking of, I guess you can say Microsoft right now, this is actually the first time that aside from them releasing all of this stuff, and remember they have the acquisition of Bethesda, and so now they're actually doing it's a joint games showcase this year, for the first time, when it's always been separate, because they were separate originally, but now it's actually a joint one. So I get the feeling that we're gonna see a lot from Microsoft. I don't know if I'm like, I don't know if I'm really like jumping the gun here. It's supposed to be 90 minutes long. Their showcase.
I'm excited because all that stuff goes to Game Pass.
I know, right? So I mean, yeah. So part of me is just like, I'm so curious to see what Microsoft's first party developers have. I mean, they showed off a lot last year, like Psychonauts. Okay. They showed off Hellblade 2.
Yeah, Psychonauts. Well, I mean, it's kind of predictable, right? Because not to let the cat out of the bag, anybody, but. Can you imagine Forza Horizon 5 being there? Yeah. Can you imagine... Yeah, I think so. Can you imagine Sea of Thieves updates? Yeah,
there's gonna be. I definitely tell there's gonna be a ton of updates for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know, then you got.
Would it be weird if you got the Gears of War 6? That's one thing I haven't heard any news about. Any new Gears games being made.
I don't think so. I think we're gonna see a lot of Halo, a lot of Hellblade 2, which is probably gonna look drop dead gorgeous. State of Decay 3 stuff, Fable stuff, maybe. Who knows? You know what I'm really excited for, actually?
What?
Dude, I swear to God, I want to see Perfect Dark stuff. You know, I did not think that they could ever bring me back after the nightmare that Perfect Dark Zero Mission or whatever the hell that, you know, that thing was that came out on the 360. But this game here, I mean, the art style doesn't look, you know, exactly Perfect Dark, at least the N64 one, but whatever, man. I'm digging it. That trailer was dope. Joanna Dark looks kind of more mature, you know, kind of a little bit of a Lara Croft kind of thing. Whatever, I'm excited for that game. I hope we see something.
Not to sound unexcited, but I actually totally forgot about Perfect Dark until you mentioned it.
No, I know. I mean, you know what? Despite your faults, I still do this podcast with you. I don't know why, because anybody that forgets about Perfect Dark really should be shunned.
Wait. What's that again, Yvonne? What's Perfect Dark?
Let me tell you, Joseph.
I never played Perfect Dark.
Back in my day, right, before your fancy smancy graphics. No, I'm telling you, this game, I don't know anything about this game other than the trailer, and that was enough to really get me excited. So, to me, you know what? That's actually my most wanted game at E3 for Microsoft, even over Halo. Because, you know, Halo looks nice, but Halo's Halo. Right,
and not to mention we've actually seen some of Halo already. We've literally only gotten like a cinematic trailer for Perfect Dark.
Yeah, and what's awesome about Perfect Dark is that I'm gonna be able to play it day one on Game Pass. Man, Game Pass is just. Have we said how amazing Game Pass is? I can't say it enough.
We have.
Game Pass is just freaking amazing. I could play Perfect Dark on day one. Anything. See, that's the cool thing, right? I mean, not including third-party games. Anything that Microsoft announces, first party wise, Game Pass, day one, awesome. I mean,
that's actually probably the biggest perk. I know that they were touting that big time, for like their first person. I mean,
Outer Worlds 2, Game Pass, right? I mean,
no, that's actually one of the really wonderful things I do like about their strategy is I know they put a huge emphasis on it all coming to that when it would actually come out.
Flight Simulator, Game Pass.
Wait, I thought that's already on. You know, isn't it coming to Game Pass? I know it's on.
I think it's on
Game
PC,
Pass.
yeah, but it's coming to Xbox. I mean, look, man, I would have never have bought that game.
Well, this
it's
is
not my
game,
jam, but on Game Pass, yeah.
There's a game though that actually. That I'm actually kind of interested in because it was shown off to be something pretty interesting, but there was no real information for it. Was when Bethesda showed off a game called Starfield.
Oh, yeah, that's
we haven't heard anything about it at all. And apparently, it's kind of being hinted at that we might see it at E3, along with Halo. Like, a lot of people are saying it's kind of being hinted at that Halo and Starfield are going to be a big thing.
That's the one that people, like Sony fans, were kind of making a big deal because, we're not getting that game, blah, blah, blah. Not to be condescending, but that was kind of condescending.
Yeah, for all you know, I mean, Starfield could be like a sci-fi version of Elder Scrolls or something like that.
No offense, we all knew that when Microsoft acquired them, that, I mean, come on, you don't pay that much money to just let the next big game just come out multi-platform. I mean, come on, that's obvious.
Yeah, definitely. You know?
Like,
in the end, I mean... Yeah, some games they were allowing because they were way too close to release already. So, but no, when you have like big flagship games, the whole point is like, to have those first party.
Spider-Man didn't come out for Xbox. Oh, we really expect? No one expected that. So, to me, this is obvious. Do I like it? Not really, because that means you have to. If you really want to experience everything, you have to have multi consoles. I mean, that's a freaking lot of money. But since I do own these consoles, I'm really excited. And Game Pass. You know what? I wish everything was on Xbox right now. Everything, including God of War, Spider-Man, Ratchet and Clank.
Oh,
everything.
How dare you?
Do you know why? No.
If I was a Sony fan, I'd be like sneering at you.
No, if you were a Sony fan, you would want this as well. Why? Game Pass. No, I'm being serious, Joseph. Game Pass. If you're a Sony fan and Ratchet and Clank is coming out, why wouldn't you want to play it day one if you own the Game Pass subscription? Why wouldn't you want to play?
Well, no, you're right.
Spider-Man?
No, but the issue is, as I said, if I were like a dedicated Sony fan, I'm not a dedicated Sony fan. Dedicated Sony fans don't own Xbox.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I don't know about that. You're gonna get Ratchet and Clank day one.
No, but
you're more of a dedicated Sony fan than I am.
Well, actually, that's what I mean. What I mean as in, I might have grown up on Sony and barely any on like Microsoft. Microsoft was literally like the farthest one away, even more than Nintendo, which is funny. We were so Sony back then. Then we got some Nintendo devices, and aside from the Game Boy, but we got like GameCube and Wii later. But the Xbox was very relegated to like not a lot of us played it, and so in the end, that's what I mean by. Like, it's kind of funny because I know recently there's been, like, small bits of console war going on recently these days. And it's just kind of sad seeing, like, the Microsoft, the Xbox fans and Sony fans who, as I said, I'm talking about, like, the really, really stingy ones. The ones that literally don't get anything but the dedicated console that they have.
Well,
which
I don't know if I would call them stingy.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you can only get one, and that's what it is.
No. I don't mean that. What I mean as stingy is as in they try to make a big deal how the other one's not so great, which I think is silly. It's
they
very,
have to
very
feel
silly.
better about their purchase.
Yeah, I guess, but
Well, we're getting into dangerous territory here. So.
It's on both sides. I'm basically saying on both sides. Both sides need to chill.
I'm saying it straight up. If you're a Sony fan, you would want a Game Pass like subscription. Honestly, it's the greatest thing. I'm serious. It's the great. And you know me, I have a PS5, man. But why wouldn't you watch E3 and then something gets announced? Bam! Oh yeah, Game Pass. Something gets announced. Awesome, Game Pass. Something gets announced. Oh, that's cool. Game Pass. I mean, at the worst, you get to sample these games, and at best, you get to play these games to completion. Yeah. I mean, this is honestly, Game Pass is amazing. So, there's a bunch of stuff, but from what we know, without any kind of spoilers, what do you think? Okay, so let me tell you this. What is the most excited thing, or the thing that you're most excited for? And what is something that you kind of hope that they would surprise you with? For
Microsoft or E3 in general?
Yeah, for Microsoft, yeah.
That's a difficult one. As I said, just because Microsoft has so much to offer, yet I don't know if I can find one that's like a niche for me. So I am super curious about Starfield. If it's like, I've never been big into Elder Scrolls, but if it's like a sci-fi Elder Scrolls, I think I'd be really, really interested because I'm more sci-fi than I am fantasy. Halo Infinite, I have to say, would be so fun because you and I have like Xboxes, right?
So and wait, are you answering the question? Which one? Which one is to? I'm confused.
This is a difficult question because do you remember how I've said that Microsoft has mostly been my catch-up console?
You're right. I put you in a bad spot.
Yeah.
So let me answer first. I'm most excited for Perfect Dark. And I wish the thing that I want to be surprised the most with is Perfect Dark. Your turn.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me quickly think of Bethesda games and Microsoft games and try to see if I can think of one that would be surprised about.
Take your time.
There might be one. I feel like there was one that I thought was hinted at last year. I don't think... That's the sad part. I don't think I have a 100% thing I'm fully excited for. I'm just excited for any big thing that Microsoft shows off that makes me excited to see. As I said, like, I don't know if I'll be big into Hellblade showing off, but I'm super curious in Starfield, as I said before. I do want to see more of Halo. I do want to see...
You're naming everything. You're not even answering the question.
Hold on. I do want to see either a sequel to Doom, possibly, or... There's one other one. I'm sorry, it's difficult for me for Microsoft. It's just kind of like there's so many good things that I could see or not see. I mean, it would be a huge surprise seeing Scalebound pop up. In my opinion, I'd be pretty excited for that because that thing died.
That'd be dope. Yeah, I'm excited. Look, the reality is, I'm excited for. I'm hyped. One, I'm kind of re-energized, man. last year was a shit show. And again, it was understandable why we didn't have E3. I missed it, but everybody had more pressing things to worry about. But now, it's a new year, things are getting better. It's just things are starting to feel back to normal, and I'm super excited about E3. I'm telling you, man, I this thing kind of snuck up on me, and I'm so glad it's here. One, because back then, when I would circle E3 on my calendar, it was excruciating, right? It's like, oh my god, every day is like, oh, we're 60 days away, we're 59 days away, we're 58 days away. Oh, come on, hurry up, E3, Now that I had other stuff going on with my life, E3 snuck up on me. That means I didn't I'm not as in tune as I normally would be. But that's okay because one, I'm going to be super surprised, and three, E3 snuck up on me. That's like Christmas sneaking up on you, man. When does that happen? So the fact that it's just around the corner, and we're going to see a bunch of awesome games, I'm super excited, man. Especially with Microsoft, because they're going to be there, most of them on Game Pass. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. As I said, I can't name specifically a thing I'm hugely excited about. I just want to see what Microsoft can show us right now, because I said they have a prime
Microsoft
spot.
Hater, I get it.
Oh, how dare you! Anyways, they have a prime opportunity to literally blow people away, and I think they're going to do really good this year, because the year before last year, they did really good. I have to say, I was very impressed with their E3 presentation the year before last year, with the Game Pass stuff and the amount of games they showed off. I mean, hell, they showed off, what was it? I think it was Devil May Cry 5. Oh man, that was killer. They showed it off first at the Microsoft one. That was a killer trailer. I still want to play that game. But the main thing I have to say that I'm looking forward to, that is always, I hate that it's always at the end of E3, is Nintendo's Direct.
100%.
Oh God, I am. If I would like to say, if I were like crazy, I'd be salivating at the mouth. All right, I'm so sad that I have to wait for Nintendo's at the very end, which I know they do every single time that they have like a Nintendo Direct at E3. It's always the last one. Even when Sony was in there, it was always Microsoft.
When is it
Sony,
on Monday?
Yeah. Oh no, it's on Tuesday.
Tuesday, huh?
Yeah, so it'd be June 15. And I mean, the potential of what could be showed off at the Nintendo Direct has me so excited. Now, technically, I already feel that a couple of rumors of that we would see like a quick reveal of like the Nintendo Switch Pro before E3. Now, that seems like it's pretty much like off the table. Like, I know some people have rumored saying, oh, it'll actually be June 11. They're actually going to quickly show something off June 11 before we get to the Nintendo Direct on the 15th. I'm kind of like, take it with a grain of salt, because Switch Pro rumors are huge. I do get the feeling that we're probably gonna see it on the Nintendo Direct, but maybe not before like people thought. Maybe we're just
that was kind of the elephant
maybe they're
in
gonna
the
lead
room,
with it.
right?
Maybe they're just gonna lead with the Switch Pro at the very beginning and then just start showing off games, because that would be the smart move in my opinion.
No, this is Nintendo, man. People, I sort of got, I don't know why people do this every year. It's like they don't know Nintendo, right? Like with Nintendo, lower your expectations. And that way you won't be disappointed. And
but
if
that
they
way you'll also be
exceed
hugely
your
surprised.
expectations,
Yeah,
you'll be crazy surprised, right?
Well, definitely.
I don't think the Pro is going to be there, as you said. And if it is, awesome.
I bet it's going to be there. I'll take you up on that bet. I bet you it's going to be there.
Let's do lunch, right?
Okay,
wait, what was the other lunch bet we had?
Well, the lunch bet you had was if there was
no, you know what? Forget. Don't bring it up.
Yeah, unfortunately, you were like, they didn't have a point system on IGN.
Look.
So ha.
Okay, how about this? If the Switch Pro is at E3, I buy you lunch.
Okay.
If it's not at E3, you buy me lunch.
Well, obviously that's simple enough, but I feel like I'm totally gonna win this one. I am totally.
I just want to be clear because you're shifty. So, if it's there,
yeah, right.
I buy you lunch. If it's not,
I was the one that explained to this guy over here when he's like, if Ratchet and Clank gets a 9.5, I'm like, dude, they haven't used 0.5s or point this in a year and a half.
Anyway, who knows what happens with IGN these days? But okay, look, I think a successful E3 for Nintendo would be if they show off Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh, absolutely. Oh god, absolutely.
That is their crowning jewel right now. And it is to sell the 35th anniversary.
Like, they have to.
Come on. They gotta do something, man. They gotta do something.
If they don't, it's gonna feel like we're being robbed or cheated. I mean, I don't want to sound entitled, but oh my god, I want some news.
Wishy-washy with their anniversary. You know, what they do for anniversaries. And come on, Zelda is freaking huge. They gotta do something. You know what would be really cool? If they release Zelda 4 Swords for free on the eShop.
Oh, that'd be cool.
As an online game. That would be really cool.
That'd be fun. I actually had it on the 3DS when they released a special little
But it wasn't
version.
online, so it's like, come on.
Yeah, I know. I do have to say, though,
I think at most I found one person to play with me.
But I have to say, like, that would actually be a really cool idea. Though, one of the things many people are saying is they really, really want, what was it, a Game Boy? Is it Game Boy emulator? I think, for, you know, how
like
they have
the
the
app?
NES. Yeah, the NES and Super NES and the virtual ones that they have for the Switch. Some people are saying, "Oh my God, give us Game Boy," or like, because technically
cool.
they did a good chunk of that on the Nintendo 3DS. Except it was like if you were an ambassador, which I was.
Yeah.
I actually had a ton of the Game Boy games. I thought that was actually pretty sweet. I mean, some people didn't care for it, but I thought that was
would
pretty
be cool.
sweet.
But you know, I don't know. They gotta do something cool. It's just something other than the bare minimum. You know, like Skyward Sword HD, bare minimum. They gotta do something other than the bare minimum for this legendary.
Well, do you think they'll do like
no
a
pun
Super
intended,
Mario pack
franchise? Huh?
Do you think they'll do like that Super Mario pack thing, except it'll have like the Zelda pack thing? Do you think they'll end up doing that?
No, you know what? What would be dope is if they announce the Legend of Zelda Maker. That would be freaking awesome.
Didn't they slightly test a bit of that?
Yeah, but it was
Link's
crummy.
Awakening?
They kind of tested it on the Link's Awakening. It was like whatever. But what they need to figure out is, I don't want a dungeon maker. I want a Legend of Zelda maker, which includes
like a map
how to make
maker?
an overworld with dungeons and some basic scenarios. You know, some kind of.
I mean, that would sell.
Story stuff.
That would sell.
That would be crazy. Maybe some Legend of Zelda 35. You know, kind of like what they did with Mario 35, where I don't know, they put kind of like a royale kind of scenario where they get 35 people and you're doing something Zelda related, maybe chickens or something. I don't know, but they gotta do some cool stuff, man. They gotta acknowledge. I mean, come on. Nintendo drives me nuts. They know what this franchise means to people. Why do they just do the bare minimum when it comes to their stuff? It drives me nuts, man. Like, not to go on a tangent, but like, you know, like orchestrated soundtracks. They're so cheap when it comes to putting in orchestra soundtracks on.
I have to say,
their games, and then I get tired of downloading a freaking indie game for $2 and this has an orchestrated soundtrack. Why the hell doesn't Zelda have one? It drives me freaking nuts.
Actually, the thing I noticed is they technically, for a while now, actually, I mean, I don't think they're doing it anymore. They had the Symphony of the Goddesses. That went on for years. They went to so many different cities and so many different countries. I actually had the pleasure to attend one. I loved it. I really, really loved it. I think I might have gone twice.
That's great, but I mean, can you translate that to the games?
But hold on. Technically, they did release discs. They did release discs of that orchestrated music.
I'm not talking about soundtracks.
I'm just saying that in the end, I kind of get the feeling that the whole bare minimum, the thing they do is, I'll put an example. How many games do you know have that long of a history, aside from like Sonic or like Mega Man, Pac-Man? I have a question, but when I hear about their anniversaries, they're usually not that big of a deal either. And I almost wonder if, and not to sound like I'm basically just poking like, Nintendo like shouldn't do something, but I get the feeling like, is it just because it is Nintendo and that these franchises are so beloved and well known, like Mario and Zelda are like worldwide phenomenon franchises, that it feels like something more should be done? Because in the end, when I think about it,
it's simple.
Most of the
it's
time,
marketing. You need not you, but they need to show. I mean, we're not talking about Sonic. You know, Sonic is, you know, poor man's whatever, right? Yeah, Sonic is not even in the same ballpark as The Legend of Zelda. Look, if Nintendo was smart, they would hype up The Legend of Zelda like it was the next best thing since sliced bread. Like, we're making a 35-year anniversary thing for this franchise because it's fucking worth it. Because it is that good. Because it deserves it. This ain't, you know, Sonic or some other crap franchise like Sonic. This is a Legend of Zelda, man. You know, they need to for people like
disclaimer,
myself
disclaimer.
and you,
he's not actually saying this crap.
Right now they're treating this franchise as like, whatever, you know, I guess we'll give you some bare bones HD edition or whatever. You know, it's kind of like, this kind of stuff kind of kills me when it comes to movies as well. You know, you'll get certain movies that are freaking amazing, like True Lies or whatever, and they don't get like a special edition Blu-ray or anything. You know, there's nothing done for them. And then you'll
but
get
hey,
like
Star Wars got the special editions.
Well, yeah, okay, look. Point being, there'll be this super obscure movie, like this real cheap ass movie that's, you know, it's a cult classic, but, you know, made on a shoestring budget, is super, super obscure. And they'll get like this amazing restoration, special edition Blu-ray. And I'm like, what the hell? This gets that treatment, but not this other movie, which is like considered like an all-time classic. You know, it just boggles the mind. And the same thing happens with video games. You know, you get these video games that get these remasters, and they're gorgeous remasters. And yeah, they deserve it. They're great games. But why does it, you know, The Legend of Zelda, why that doesn't get the same attention paid as these other games that are not as prestigious? It just kind of drives me nuts.
Well, I kind of feel like they probably did
this is way outside of E3.
Yes, it is. But as I said, in the end, I feel like some of their anniversaries I thought were actually pretty good. Of the years past, like the whole Symphony of the Goddess stuff that they did for a long time. Then there was the whole Ocarina of Time. They did the Ocarina of Time like 3D, which I thought was really cool. I mean, some of the stuff they did was pretty cool that I actually really enjoyed. But you're right, but it has been kind of a little dry in regards to their anniversaries. But getting back on technically Nintendo's E3 Direct, I know we technically really want to get into some of the other stuff, but yes, Breath of the Wild 2 for me is like, it is, aside from basically like a Switch Pro showing up, Breath of the Wild 2 is the main thing people want to see. It has actually been one of the most anticipated games for years now. I want to see something for it.
Well, they showed it off 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And in the end, they've been so quiet, like mysteriously quiet. And one part of me loves that about Nintendo, but then the other part kind of hates it too. Because the other part of me, you know, loves the fact that they're keeping it down because they want to wow people. They did a similar thing with Breath of the Wild, and I was wowed when they finally started showing stuff.
Dude, they need to release a trailer as good as that Breath of the Wild trailer. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Epic.
Breath of the Wild, all 3 trailers were great, but its launch trailer was absolutely phenomenal. Or its release trailer was absolutely phenomenal.
Dude, I even like that Imagine Dragon commercial. I think that thing was really
right?
cool, man.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I think that game's going to be there, no-brainer. So, Pro, who knows? You know, I actually do hope I buy you lunch because I want the Pro. Am I going to get it? Who knows? Because, you know Nintendo, man. They never make enough of anything.
Oh, I'm going to be literally after those scalpers' heads as soon as they announce the Switch Pro.
A part of me thinks that if there wasn't this chip shortage, that Nintendo would have released a Pro this year. But there's probably, I don't know how they could release the Pro at a reasonable price with the way chips are right now. I mean, they're freaking insane, dude. I mean, it's insanity how expensive chips are right now.
For all it could be delayed till next year. I mean, there's rumors that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be announced or shown off, but it's not going to come out until 2022.
I bet you that thing was done, but there was no way they could release it, or they could have released it at the price point that they wanted. Because this shortage just is freaking crazy. But, so, you know what? I want to go to another elephant in the room here. are we gonna see any Metroid 4 news?
God, that is a good question. I've heard so many things about Retro, and most of it is like the hiring. Like, the constant amount of hiring that they've done over...
They've been hiring for freaking years, man. Can they stop hiring now and make a game?
Now, technically, people did say that a lot of the people they hired, some of it's actually like... A lot of people are saying there's actually been work done, quite a significant amount, and that some of the hiring news is actually older news. There's a whole guy who did a video on it, which I thought was really cool. I didn't know some of the stuff he talked about, but it was basically him. He was kind of clarifying that actually... based on what he saw and on the scheduling and the timing and everything, that actually they probably have done a good amount. Now, I just would like at least a teaser trailer, like at least something to know that's being done. Now, knowing Nintendo, I feel like I'm not going to get it. Yeah,
another logo.
But okay, knowing Nintendo, I feel like we're not going to see it.
What are we going to see first? Oh! You know what? Okay, forget Metroid. We ain't going to see shit on Metroid, guaranteed. I don't want my heart broken, so I don't want to talk about Metroid anymore, because it's just sad. We ain't gonna see jack shit. Alright, people? Look, if we see Metroid, if we see anything on Metroid 4, I buy you another lunch, Joseph. How about that?
There's gonna be a whole bunch of lunches.
Don't worry, I feel confident that
we're not gonna see
I don't have to pony up, because we ain't gonna see jack shit on Metroid.
Okay, so then, do you know...
I'm confident.
Okay.
But, you know what, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What are we gonna see? Are we gonna see? What would you put your money on?
Okay, so
seeing something. Hold on. Let me give you the choices. Let me give you the choices. Okay. Would you put your money on that we're gonna see new Donkey Kong footage? You know, because it's being made internally, or something on Metroid, or something on Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta 3. I feel like is an absolute no-brainer. That's
here.
To be fair, that's an easy one, at least for
okay,
me. Like,
okay, no, you're right.
Like, if they don't, that's like, what the hell's going on?
Well,
that'd be a WTF moment.
Again,
if all of Direct goes not a thing.
I'm prepared to have my heart broken. Okay, well, how about this? Are we gonna see something on either Donkey Kong, whatever the new game is, or Metroid 4?
Okay, so I don't feel confident in Metroid, even though I want it. Donkey Kong, the weird part is every time there's rumors being talked about internal development, sometimes I'm just not too confident. If rumors for Nintendo-related things are so 50-50 that I just don't know. That's the sad part. Like, part of me would be like, oh, wouldn't that amaze everyone if, like, a new, beautiful Donkey Kong game showed up? But then I have this weird feeling, like, I don't know if I'd bet money on it. Like, I really don't. It seems like a Nintendo thing to do, but then I don't know. Like, that's the thing I'm on the fence on about completely. Because I've said before that, I've talked to my brother about this, you know, the one that was actually on as a guest. I've talked to him, and I told him, like, Nintendo, like Microsoft, surprisingly enough, is literally in the best position to show off their cards. Like, like, they could, if they wanted, literally blow people away. That's the thing that I don't understand sometimes about Nintendo, is they sometimes are in such a prime position to blow people away, and they don't do it. And I know why in some cases. Even then, it says that their Nintendo Direct is going to mostly be on upcoming Nintendo Switch games releasing in 2021. So I definitely know.
They always say that. Every year they say that.
No. Now remember, yes, the key word is mainly releasing in 2021. But we're still going to get some 2022 show-offs, basically. But what I'm saying
Nintendo,
is, like, even if they had three big hitters. Okay, even if they had three big hitters, all right? Let's say that they show off a Donkey Kong game that's coming out this year. Let's say they show off Bayonetta 3, which, as I said, Bayonetta 3 is a no-brainer. I have total faith that Bayonetta 3 is going to come out this year.
You're going to eat your words when they don't announce that.
I'm not. Anyways, and as I said, they're going to show off things that are going to come out this year, right? And I'm betting you we're going to have a couple of odd surprises. Like, for all you know, we could get a sequel to ARMS, like, that would come out this year, okay? Nintendo
Mario Kart 9?
Oh, you know what? That might be a big one right there. But as I said, Nintendo has been notorious these days for showing off games and releasing them 3 months later. Like
Xenoblade X Remaster, are we going to see that?
I don't think so. In fact, despite the company Microsoft said that they wanted to do that, based on their workflow that they talked about, that how they got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition out and Xenoblade Chronicles The Golden Country, and they were working on a new IP, I don't think so. They even said it would be a huge undertaking. to bring X, even though they wanted to.
It's not my favorite. You know what I would really want to see? Xenosaga, Xenogears, kind of collections.
I feel like that'd have to be from a different company. I just feel that Monolith Soft is way. In fact, the Nintendo actually not outsources. They utilize a lot of Monolith Soft, like a bit of their skill for some of their other projects too. So in the end, I feel like they don't have time. I know why they did.
They're probably busy crunching on that Breath of the Wild too.
They're probably. And for me, all I would say is if I were to predict maybe 2022 show-offs, I know we're gonna get Pokemon like trailers. We're gonna get that. Anyways, if I were to think of the main three big,
hopefully it looks better.
Well, I'd say this: if they did at least these 3 ones at the end, and they're basically like the 2022 variants. If we got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and it said it came out in 2022, because I said it says mainly 2021, but let's say their main 3 big like they end the show on, I'll actually do them in order. Splatoon 3, which I know they already said 2022, and then the next Xenoblade game, and then Breath of the Wild 2.
You're forgetting something.
Metroid?
I almost guarantee you that there's going to be another Smash character reveal.
Oh, okay. But that's this year. That's this year, though. I meant for the stuff they might throw on at the end of the Nintendo Direct.
I guess so, but I think it's going to be not Banjo-Kazooie, I'm sorry. What's that other rat or whatever the hell he is? The Bandicoot? There you go, Bandicoot. There. Right? Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, Crash Bandicoot. I don't think so.
I think it's going to be that.
Not to sound strange, but he doesn't seem like he's got a decent enough moveset. It's gonna sound kind of strange, but I don't think he. I really don't think he's that unique of a fighter. I'm not the biggest
fan of Crash, but at this point, he is kind of like a gaming icon. He was around the '90s with Mario and Sonic, so that would kind of be the trifecta. If not Crash. It would be dope if Rayman made it there because I think he actually deserves to be in the game more so than Crash. He, in my opinion,
would have a fun moveset. He probably have a better moveset.
He has way better games than Crash. He's been around longer. To me, his legacy is more prestigious. I know Crash gets all the attention because of that commercial when he was standing outside Nintendo and making fun of them with the microphone, whatever, But to me, Rayman is just a more prestigious character that deserves to be there. His catalog of games is just spotless, practically.
Yeah, I would definitely say I would prefer Rayman over Crash.
The only kind of blemish in Rayman's catalog is like a game called Arena or something, but whatever, you can bat 100.
I like you snuck that in there, and I'm like, are you slandering my childhood, Yvonne?
Oh, here we chant. Well, you know what? Okay, Fire Emblem. Whatever it is.
Oh,
you know what?
I wish
God.
Fire Emblem. I can't believe I didn't mention that. Like,
yeah, I actually want a remaster of Dawn of Radiant. Is it, or is it Pass of Radiance? There, Pass of Radiance, or like a double pack. Yeah, okay, dude, Pass of Radiance. No, I'm telling you, man. Forget Three Houses or whatever. Pass of Radiance, and I passed Three Houses. It was okay. It's okay, but Pass the Radiance is one of my favorite games ever. This game is so cool. I would love a remaster as far as graphics, but unfortunately, I know they're gonna mess with the gameplay and modernize it, quotation marks, and bring it up to speed to what how the gameplay is now in modern Fire Emblem games. But I hope not, man. I would just love if this is the irony.
Yeah, but every
here.
time they've redone as a Fire Emblem game, most of the time they just add on certain things if you want to use those features.
I hope so. Here's the complete irony that if Skyward Sword is just a straight up HD port, but then they kind of mess with the passive radiance. I would hate that. This game, update the graphics.
You just can't be satisfied, can you, Yvonne? It's either no changes at all or you want changes.
Dude, because Skyward Sword had a lot of issues. I think.
Yeah, but it was still a great game.
That's debatable.
I still liked it.
I think that's a hill I will comfortably die on. That game had issues, so it needed more attention. Passive Radiant, dude, that game is near perfection. I freaking love that game. Update the cinematics, better voice acting.
Word on that.
No, look, Joseph. I'm telling you, man, that game. But look, if they released it, it would give you a chance to play it. And find out for yourself.
Okay. That's one thing I am big on. I do know that Nintendo has gotten me hugely on remastering games and giving them back to the audience. And then for me, who's not experienced some of those, I actually really like that. It's actually, yes, a lot of people kind of chastise, Nintendo's just having remasters and ports done. But to be fair, part of me does like that, because sometimes you miss out like on all these other games, and then you're kind of like, that was a classic game. You never got to play that? Why don't you play it now? And I kind of feel like, yeah, why not? So, yes, okay, but I would say, okay, you might have a point that, yes, there were rumors that they were remaking Path of Radiance, which actually is something Nintendo has done with Intelligent Systems. They usually would make a new Fire Emblem game, right? They made Fire Emblem Awakening when they started. Then they made Fire Emblem Fates. Then they made Fire Emblem Shadows of Valencia, which was a remake of Gaiden. And then they made Three Houses. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that they actually might remake Path of Radiance, which was a really big game. But if Nintendo's trying to be more like, we want new IPs, we may just see a teaser of a new Fire Emblem game altogether. So I'm not holding that out. So
even if they don't remake it or port it, in HD, there's been rumors for a while now that GameCube games were coming to Switch and N64 games, but specifically GameCube games. I mean, look. They already have the emulators. They used the emulator on the Mario All-Star Collection or whatever, right? So they have the emulator, and the emulator is capable of, doing 1080p, widescreen. Mario Sunshine did it. So why not release GameCube classics? And they don't have to put them in wide. If the widescreen messes with things, I know putting these games in widescreen could kind of be screwy. Heck, even the Ratchet and Clank collection had issues because they were put on widescreen, and some of that UI stuff would get all funky. Then whatever.
And the cutscenes, sometimes the cutscenes would get slightly affected.
Yeah, whatever. Put the game in Fortry, and sell them. This is Nintendo. Really, they should sell them like I don't know, $9.99, $6.99. But this is Nintendo, so they'll probably charge us, $15 for them. Whatever. Put them out there, and give people like yourself to try a classic, a game that I keep talking about. Give myself a chance to revisit a classic. Now, if Nintendo puts these games at 30, holy shit, I'll be pissed. That company did it with Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. That is a straight up port of that game, and they charge $30 for it. So hopefully Nintendo doesn't do that. But I would love to see N64 and GameCube classic games now that they have the emulator.
I mean,
it's a decent emulator.
Hell, I'm sure if they just showed off just that at E3, I'm sure you'd be over the moon.
I'm telling Joseph, fuck Halo and any other, I would be just absolutely floored. Look, Nintendo, the reality here is that if Nintendo hits half of this stuff, look, Switch Pro, Breath of the Wild 2, anything with Zelda 35, anniversary, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Mario
Bayo
Kart
3,
9,
Fire Emblem.
Tomodachi Life, which is coming, right? Xenoblade of any sort, either Xenoblade X or preferably, in my opinion, a new Xenoblade, a new Fire Emblem, maybe something.
No, you're right though. It literally seems like just do some of it.
Yeah, just do half of what I just named. Advance Wars, F-Zero. I mean, dude, they have a treasure trove. When the Switch got announced, I was super excited because this is the argument I made. The argument I made was like, holy crap. Are you talking about Nintendo's home developers, like the home console developers and their handheld developers all making games on the Switch? Man, we're going to get like a gazillion games. Right, because the 3DS was well supported by Nintendo, and the Wii U was supported by Nintendo. So, to me, logically, if you only have one system to support, then games were just going to come flowing. And the reality is that games have not been coming. They have not. Now, last year, whatever, throw it in the trash. I get it. But even before that, there was kind of like a mini drought. Games have just not.
Their first year was great, though. I thought their first year had tons
their
of games.
First year. No, but after that, Joseph, I just don't think that their output has really. I mean, think about it, man. Insomniac, they released Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, and now Ratchet and Clank. What the fuck has Retro released?
Remember, Retro Studios is most of the time used to help them make other games. As said, Nintendo does that a lot.
I get it, but that doesn't excuse Nintendo or Retro. Look, they need to really get their shit together and increase their output, honestly. The 3DS got all these other... Dude, the 3DS was loaded with games.
But technically, you can kind of make the argument. That remember, the less you have to do technically in regards to either resolution, graphics, or anything, you can spend doing mostly gameplay.
That's bullshit. What about those? The 3DS had games like Pushmo and all these. I mean, come on, dude. How much effort does a game like Pushmo take?
Oh, okay.
On the Switch?
Do you mean kind of like the more smaller games that they had, where they had a division that basically specialized in all those smaller games?
Look, the Switch released in 2017. Are you telling me that nearly 4 years later, that's not enough time for all these development studios to put out something?
I don't know. I mean, I would really, in my opinion, have to look through the whole history of Nintendo Switch, because most of the time I've actually been very happy with the stuff.
What was the last
huge
game that came out for the Switch by Nintendo?
Let me think. Currently, it'd probably be... Wait, hold on. The only two that I can think of technically recently were Luigi's Mansion 3 and Age of Calamity.
How long was Luigi's Mansion 3? How long ago was that?
Okay, fine. Age of Calamity. Age of Calamity came out in November last year.
November of last year. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not and like what, 7 months ago, Joseph. 7 months ago.
Yes, but hold on. Technically, Nintendo didn't have this come out, but Monster Hunter Rise.
And that wasn't even Nintendo.
It wasn't.
They didn't even develop that game.
Wait. They didn't, but they were the ones that convinced Capcom to make it a Switch exclusive.
They have nothing to do with Monster Hunter Rise. I'm talking about Nintendo and Nintendo developers.
Oh, you mean Nintendo and their output. Nintendo and their output.
Yes, of course Nintendo and their output. Look, okay, we may differ. We may differ here, but
I really feel like there was one game that came out technically by Nintendo. I could be wrong.
Look, you're proving my point just by having to... I mean, come on, man. Come on. I just named 3 freaking Insomniac games and right off my head. I mean, look.
Okay, it is a bit strange. Okay, fine. Huh? It is a bit strange.
No, look, my point is not to shit on Nintendo, because God knows I want... And I think you're probably thinking of Origami, whatever. Look, I want to throw money at Nintendo like there's no fucking tomorrow. Dude, take my money, Nintendo. Take it. That's what I want. I want them to give me a reason to give them my money. and they haven't been giving me reasons.
Well, that's why I'm saying that technically maybe they're primed. I'm just saying maybe that's why they're primed to have such a great Nintendo Direct, even though, yes, it's the whole keep your expectations down, but I get this weird feeling. I have this weird feeling like they plan to blow people away. It's a good year to blow people away right now.
And that's my point. That's the point that I'm trying to make, that there is, in my opinion, no reason why they shouldn't come out swinging. Like, fuck you, Xbox. Fuck you, PS5. Bam, 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 bam. Here, 2020 was a shit show. We saved our big guns. And now, read them in wheat, boys. Bam. We won E3, son. Let's go home. Pack up and go home. You got nothing, Xbox. You got nothing, Sony. They need to blow us away, man. And just by announcing half of the shit we talk about will blow us away.
That's true, because even I think it might have been 2019. I know, probably wasn't 2019. Nintendo really does have such a great catalog, and the fact that they most of the time don't have to show like every single thing to, like, basically, as I said, show off what they're capable of. As I said, oddly enough, for me, you asked me, like, what are you super excited for Xbox? Like, what is that one thing? And I couldn't really name it because I'm a gamer, right? So I'm excited to see these games that Bethesda and Xbox and, Microsoft are working on. I'm excited to see, like, probably the next Deus Ex that is being hinted at by Square Enix, or Final Fantasy 16 footage, or hell, maybe even that weird game by Capcom that was Pragmata, right? I'm a gamer, right? I think these things look absolutely sick. I'd love to see them, but why is it that as soon as Nintendo comes up, I know exactly what I want to see. I know exactly what I'm hoping to expect. I start predicting all over the place because there's just so many things that they can show off right now, and I'm just wanting them to show them off. Like, I want to see it. And so, yeah, you have a point about that.
I'm just afraid, take Disney, right? Mm-hmm. Disney in the 90s, they were doing a lot of direct to video movies, whatever. They were cheaper, etc. But they were really kind of, they were exploring. They were making a bunch of cool Mickey movies, and they were doing Goofy movies and Goofy shows, and they were just doing a bunch of cool stuff with their IPs. And then they're like, oh, we got Marvel and Star Wars, and let's just saturate the market with Marvel and Star Wars. And then I'm like, yeah, what happened with all the cool Mickey Mouse movies you do, like the Three Musketeers, Mickey Mouse you guys did, all these awesome other stuff that you did with all these other IPs that you have. You just forgot about them. And it seems like Nintendo is kind of doing the same thing. What happened with F-Zero, man? What happened, with Advance Wars? What happened with all these awesome IPs that they have? But they're like, they're just like, well, Mario, okay, great. Okay, now Fire Emblem to Death. Okay, great. Fire Emblem was a niche series. I'm glad it's gaining attention now, but oh my god, we're getting a shitload of Fire Emblem.
Yeah, they pumped out a
Pokemon,
lot as soon as it gained popularity again.
Zelda, it seems like they're relying on Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Fire Emblem.
Man, I gotta say, Metroid has had a huge drought. Good lord.
Metroid has had a huge drought. Come on, they got more IPs. They need to kind of start looking into their chest and treasure chest of IPs. And, I would love for them to get another studio to do another Eternal Darkness game. That would be amazing. They have that IP. They have another one that came out on the GameCube. What is it called? Where it's a first-person shooter that you would possess people. I can't remember, but they own the IP to that.
Familiar first person.
Yeah, what is it? Wow, what is it called? God, I'm gonna hate myself for not remembering. But that was a pretty unique game. Look, the point is, Nintendo just has so many cool IPs that they do a lot of Yoshi stuff for sure, a lot of Kirby stuff, but they're starting to farm these Yoshi games to these garbage studios. The only ones that do any decent Yoshi games are is it Goodfeel? What are they called? The guys that do like the Yoshis that look like material and all that stuff. And even that I'm getting tired of that. That concept. Yeah, cute. Yoshi made out of wool. Yoshi made out of cardboard. Yoshi. I'm like, come on, just give me a fucking regular Yoshi game by now. Like,
it would be cool if Yoshi just had like his own little adventure game. That'd be pretty cool. Actually,
it just seems like if it's a Zelda game, approved. Mario game, approved. Fire Emblem game, approved. Yoshi game, no. It needs to have some weird ass gimmick. Made out of wool? Okay, approved. What's next? Oh, this,
well, I mean, I think
Mario
I think the
RPG.
issue,
What's the gimmick here?
The issue here is mostly is I feel like they. It's kind of funny that they talk about sometimes changing up their IPs or like, trying new things. But I feel like sometimes they only try. Not to say that technically they didn't try new things with like Mario Odyssey or Breath of the Wild. That was actually, as I said, a big step in a different direction. But it almost kind of seems like they try more of the experimental stuff with a lot of their lower IPs, I guess you could say. Like
Starbucks. Oh, they want a new Starbucks game? A Fox game? We'll give it to them unless it has some weird-ass gimmick. Like...
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it wasn't designed to be a gimmick. They thought it actually would be pretty cool. It just turned out to, for most people,
No, Miyamoto said it himself. Like, he doesn't want to do a new game unless he could think of something unique to do with the IP. That doesn't fucking stop him from doing Mario crazy and Zelda. Look, dude.
Yeah.
F-Zero. Give us more F-Zero. Why? I mean, come on. Star Fox? Give us... Like, we don't need a gimmick to get a Star Fox game. Just give us a, drop-dead, gorgeous, brand new Star Fox game. Same thing with F-Zero, man. The GameCube F-Zero, masterpiece. Does that mean you can't do another one? And let me prove my point here, because Miyamoto, I love Miyamoto to this, but he's like, oh, I don't want to do another F-Zero unless I could think of an idea. That's ridiculous, man. Look at the guys who did Luigi. That's the studio. Why am I forgetting the studio now? Whatever.
Oh, it's a Next Level game.
Next Level, right? They made Punch-Out for the Wii.
And that I heard was great.
Oh, it is one of my all-time favorite. It is a class. It is probably up there with the original, if not better. So, that is a case where Punch-Out 1, 2, and 3, basically almost the same exact concept and gameplay, but with tweaks and improvements and graphical features and etc.
And a lot of personality too. Lots of personality.
Yeah, you could take the same formula, and you don't need to toss in a gimmick. Just make it better, improve on it, or just like Punch-Out for the Wii. That's a perfect example how you don't need a gimmick to take an established franchise and make it better.
Funny enough, that is actually, I mean, I don't want to jump out at Nintendo too much, and I'm super excited Ratchet & Clank because it's coming out, but that is technically essentially what Insomniac did. Some people wanted to call the dual sense haptics kind of gimmicks, even though a lot of people say, the reviewers say it was great. But one of the tiny little things that some reviewers had a gripe with was essentially Ratchet & Clank isn't doing too many new things. Which, Ratchet & Clank is almost like Mario games. It has a formula, right? Now, the funny thing is they add just enough to be like really cool things in it, right? But the core gameplay is, with at least a bunch of nice additions, is mostly the same. But it's exciting and fun and enjoyable and you're smiling all the time. And that's the funny thing, right, that you just mentioned, that sometimes you don't really need to really do that. And in my opinion, Insomniac Games has now perfected their formula with their latest game. They were like, we perfected it. We got Insomniac Games.
Oh, Insomniac. I thought you said Sonic Games. I'm sorry.
No, Insomniac Games with Ratchet & Clank. That was one of the things is that,
contradict that.
About Sonic, you're like, they have not perfected that formula.
No, they haven't. That
formula's broken.
I mean, they perfected being awful, but
no, you're right. You're right that you don't really need to change up every single thing. You just sometimes need to build upon it.
Look at Star Fox for the GameCube. The worst part of that game was the ground mission levels. Just I hate those levels, man. They should have just kept it to the flying levels. Same thing with Star Fox on the Wii U. It needed a gimmick with the gamepad, and it's just bad. Like, I love Nintendo for their innovation, but sometimes this stuff could just get in the way. I mean, it's the God honest truth, It's just a God honest truth. Sometimes this stuff could just get in the way sometimes, but we are getting a little sidetracked, I guess, from E3.
Technically, I mean, essentially, we are technically talking about E3 because you're basically saying, like, why don't they show off some of their properties that they could just expand upon or, make better variants of So technically it is kind of an E3 discussion because we're kind of still talking about we hope. But if you think about it, we're not doing much predicting. It's more like we're getting into like, some of the other stuff.
Well, no, I mean, see, because you're right, but I just don't know what to predict with them because with them it's always this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I know.
Well, technically,
if I get 20% of what I want, then I'm happy.
Technically, we predicted a few things, kind of like how I said I feel Pro is going to happen, and you're like, no, it's not. That's a prediction. I basically am saying like, what did I say?
Breath of the Wild is going to be there. That's a prediction. I predict this Breath of the Wild 2.
I said Bayonetta 3 is going to be there completely, and you're like, you're kind of like, I don't know. So as I said, some are making predictions. For Microsoft, we made a couple predictions.
GameCube games will be there. I predict GameCube games will be there. I predict a new Xenoblade game. I predict Mario Kart 9. And I will predict that... Did I say Bayo 3? No, you said that one, right?
I said Bayo 3.
I predict a new partnership with another company to bring back some kind of property. Those are my predictions.
That's a good idea. I would say, my prediction is the next game that Next Level Games is working on, because they made a fantastic Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's been a while. So the next game from Next Level Games. Technically, I'll probably have to borrow your prediction slightly. I do believe we're going to get Xenoblade footage. It's been way, way too long. I also predict Bayonetta 3, for sure. For me, it's a hands down. I predict the Nintendo Switch Pro. Believe it or not, I actually do not predict GameCube games, oddly enough. And I think as I said, we kind of both agree Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be there. It's kind of a no-brainer. But I also predict that if not Metroid 4, we're actually going to get the rumored 2D Metroid that's being worked on.
Oh, you know what? No, okay. I hope so. That would be amazing. I'm gonna predict that we're gonna see the trilogy game that supposedly has been done for like 2 years or whatever. Nintendo's
I'll give you that
reason
one.
Doesn't
I'll
release
give you
it.
that one.
So I think we're gonna see the trilogy. So hopefully we see the trilogy and a 2D announcement. It would be dope. Nintendo will never, ever, ever do this. But if somehow they... this is one thing I do like about Sega and their, their Ratchet mascot, Sonic, is that, they got fans to make that Sonic game. What is that, Sonic? Sonic Mania? And that was amazing by all counts, right? I mean, I'm not a Sonic fan. I know, shocker. But the game, by all counts, delivered. The music was wonderful. The intro cinematic was just drop dead gorgeous. I mean,
I've seen it. It was really nice.
They knocked it out of the park. These fans. Why doesn't Nintendo get the guy that made Metroid 2? The Game Boy game. How he remade it and released it for free on the PC. Polish that game up and release it. That game, by all accounts, is great. Nintendo wouldn't do it.
But you were right in saying they might do a partnership with someone to bring another franchise back. Like they have done
Namco.
that. Yeah, I mean they've done that in the past.
It'd be cool if they re-released those Monolith GameCube RPGs that what are they called?
Oh, I forgot.
Baden, Kaido, whatever.
Yeah, they're actually. You told me the names, but they're kind of like kind of obscure names for sure. But I mean,
I put 80 hours into the first game, and I put like 40 hours into the second game.
Yeah,
I still don't know the name.
I feel like we haven't
we
haven't had a partnership in a while. To see that Nintendo's done with their own properties. I know they've partnered with other companies to fund full projects that are exclusives. Like as I said, Bayonetta 3, Astral Chain. To be fair though, I would love. I know Bayonetta 3 is probably going to be the only thing from Platinum that we're going to see from that's partnered that Nintendo's footing the bill for. But I have to say, I would really love a sequel to Astral Chain. I don't think I'm going to see anything for it. But it was a fantastic
Astral
game.
Chain, yeah. Man, that's a good one.
Yeah, and in the end, it did amazing. It is a sole Switch exclusive, and it is amazing. So I feel like that would be so cool. I mean, Platinum Games, though, is super busy. Super, super busy for the past 2 years, even though they haven't really shown off, like, a lot of what they've been doing. So I feel like if I'm going to make any prediction, we're going to see a ton of Platinum Games stuff this E3. Like, just whatever they've been hiding behind. I feel like we can get a ton of stuff from them.
the partnership is going to be a Dead by Daylight pack.
Nah.
Where Bowser is the killer.
No,
and then,
they're not.
You know, Princess Peach and Mario and Luigi as Survivor.
No. They would never. They would never. Good God. Could you imagine if they did that? People would be like, oh my God. Like, I feel like Nintendo would be so ashamed of themselves if they did that.
That would be dope.
Yeah, totally. I mean, technically, if you think about it, Bayo could wear literally like Nintendo outfits in Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch. Do you remember that? They added like a whole bunch of Nintendo outfits.
Yeah, you know the funny story about that, like those guys were afraid that the outfits were too skimpy. Mm-hmm. So they toned it down, and Nintendo's like, "What are you guys doing? Well, you know, we like the original ones. We like the slutty ones."
It was actually funny. They actually just said that they felt that it wouldn't be in character for her if they didn't make it the way they originally made it, because they said it's your character. Like if she's like this, then she would be dressed like this. And they were actually said they were surprised, because I'll give Nintendo this. Even if they're more on the family-oriented side, they at least do understand when it comes to certain things. So.
Another lunch bet.
Ooh, I feel like I'm getting all these lunches.
Is Bale's hair gonna be long or short?
Oh no!
I say short. Short.
Okay, hold on. Let me think. That's such a tough one. Okay, because technically they said she's the type of lady that always changes her hair. Okay, technically I'm gonna have to go in the middle ground, because I don't believe they're going to do short
you
and
coward. That's
the
coward's way.
The only reason why I'm saying that... The only reason I'm saying that... I'm going from a logical perspective. Make
sense. You win either way.
No. We can still do that. You're saying short. I'm going to say mid-length, just because they haven't done that.
Doesn't make any sense. I mean, you're in the middle.
No. I just said I changed the bet. If the hair is middle length, then I win. If the hair is short length, then you win. Because I get the sneaky suspicion that
how do we know
what's
middle and long? That doesn't.
Middle long is very easy to know. Where it's like shoulder length. You're like
Darth Vader.
Her hair's not even
altering the terms
her
of the
hair
deal.
is not even shoulder length in Breath of the Wild. In Bayonetta 2.
All right.
I'm saying shoulder length. She's like shoulder length hair. Because in the first one it was ridiculously long. Like we're talking.
That's what I'm most excited
long.
for. Really, to see what hairs. You know, her and Travis Touchdown, perfect couple. I mean, these guys, they're meant for each other, dude.
Nah, she would hate him. I feel like she would not be able to tolerate him.
She would be the dominant one in that relationship. Come on, dude. Lord. I would. Those two need a crossover. So,
though, actually, in my opinion, I could see that happening, because their worlds are just so crazy and ludicrous that they would definitely easily be able to cross over. But yeah, that'd be funny though if there was like a crossover for that. But yeah, I would say that. Aside from technically mostly Nintendo-related things that I feel like are not easy, but technically the highest things that I feel like predicting and wanting, I am excited for a couple of games that I hope to see at E3. I mean, some are technically already announced, like Tales of Arise, that comes out in September. I know they're going to show off stuff like that. Capcom almost feel like has used up all their cards this year already. You know that? They've literally shown off. They literally have had a great year already. You got Monster Hunter Rise. You got Resident Evil Village. Now you have Monster Hunter Stories coming up. Then you have the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles coming to Switch. They've got this huge. They've had this huge lineup already.
Don't worry. They'll find another Street Fighter collection to release on Switch. They'll figure something out. There's always a collection somewhere to release.
I feel like they're gonna show off maybe Resident Evil 4 VR. Just because I have to say that is actually pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't think they've got anything left. I don't think they have anything left to show off this year. I feel like they're just going to be showing off.
They're going to release Resident Evil 4 Portable Edition on Switch.
Oh, good God. Anyways, I'm just saying. Oh, wait. There is one thing that I predict we might see. You want to guess what it is?
Resident Evil 4 Portable Edition?
Resident Evil 4 Remake. Which has been talked
Resident
about
Evil
for a
4
while.
Remake. What?
Remember, it's been talked about for a while, and they're going up the list. They're going up the list.
Resident Evil 4.
It's gonna happen. Just watch
yeah.
it. Think about it. They've milked it dry. They're gonna now remake it. And rumor has it that there was a divisive between whether going completely old school with it and just modernizing it a bit to actually straight up
underestimate Capcom if you think that they have run out of ways to milk Resident Evil 4.
And that's why I'm saying this is the final milking. The final milking will be the remake. Just watch.
Yeah, you don't know, Capcom. You don't know. I'm sure some poor sap like 20 years ago said, "This is the last time Street Fighter 2 has been released. The final milking." Whatever that means. No, man.
I'm gonna coin that.
Don't underestimate Capcom's ability to resell you the same shit over and over and over and over. The only other company in that same class is Nintendo, and I have about 80 copies of the original Super Mario Brothers to prove it.
Goodness. Well, I think that's kind of it for me in regards to what I can figure out. As I said, I kind of went into this a little more blind than usual. I'm sure there's tons of other things that people basically think are going to happen at E3. But maybe it's just because this E3 I'm more focused than ever. Like everything else will feel like icing on the cake. Like, oh, new Deus Ex game. Oh, I would love to see a new Deus Ex game. Problem is, I haven't played the other ones, even though I'd love to. Like new footage for that weird game, Pragmata, or how about like footage for a new Devil May Cry, footage for Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, right? There's all these wonderful things I would love to see, and then there's obviously going to be lots of like smaller games. Devolver Digital, despite how crazy their presentation is, it at least does show some pretty cool games. Devolver Digital's actually got a really good hold on those indie, like technically indie developed games. They got a ton of them. I love Devolver Digital games. Huge catalog that they have. But aside from that, I just feel like I've been so focused this year that I mostly just want to see Nintendo's. Like everything else will just be wonderful along the way until I reach Nintendo's. Like, oh my god, that's cool. Oh my goodness, that's cool. I'm pretty excited to see what Bethesda and Microsoft have in store. But ultimately, like we've mentioned, how much we dedicated to this episode on Nintendo and just talking about it, that I get the feeling that that's actually the biggest thing. We're just kind of like, all right, E3, wow me, and then Nintendo, just take it the rest of the way. Like, win it at the very end. So I feel like everything else is just, is just a topping. I just want to get, it's kind of like I'm eating, like E3 is going to be all the frosting until we finally get to the cake.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Modern Retrospect. We release new episodes almost every week on a variety of video game topics, as well as having game-specific episodes, along with some other surprises, so we hope you stay tuned.
You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everything else. If you enjoy our ramblings, like I'm sure you did this time of our E3 ramblings, please feel free to subscribe, rate us, or leave a message through email, social media, or voice so we can hear your feedback on today's topic. If you want more retro hits and modern bits, just hop on back. You have a good one and a good E3.
Bye, everyone.